Passing inspection doesn't mean you didn't do anything wrong. Is it on already? Okay, let's. Torah Or, Patach, Parshas Vayera 26. There's basically one mimer here, Patach Eliyahu. Okay, this is a very famous basic mimer. Patach Eliyahu, we say this from Tikkun Zayin, part of the Zayin. It says, Patach Eliyahu, Navi opened his said, Antu chad v'lei b'chushma. He speaks about Hashem. You are one without any calculations. Antu dapika sasa tikkunim. You bring out the 10 tikkunim, which are the 10 spheres, to run the world with. So he says, Lahavin inyan zeh, to understand this. Lama nikri yud spheres b'shem tikkunim. The Zohar calls the 10 spheres tikkunim. Tikkun means to fix, but and he says, Shein Asta Tikkunim Shein Asta spheres. So there's 10, but the Zohar calls them 10 tikkunim. So he says, Lahat can be the inyan muhusa nefesh. We need to understand, in order to understand this, we need to understand the essence of the nefesh. What does the nefesh mean? Kinei, nefesh means saratzma. The nefesh itself is or pashut, is one simplistic revelation. B'lei his chalkas seichel and midas, without the division of intellect and emotions. V'aseichel v'amidas shalom, and the seichel and the midas of the nefesh are only levushim, are only garments lenefesh, to the nefesh, meaning that the nefesh has seichel and midas, but the midas and the seichel are not the nefesh. In other words, the nefesh is one simplistic power. Because it is one simplistic power, it has intellect, emotions, thought, speech, and action. It has all different things. That doesn't mean to give a gashmistic mashal, which is obviously not exact mashal. A battery has power. You put it into a flashlight, it gives light. You put it into a talking toy, it talks, walks, whatever. That doesn't mean that what is a battery? Light. The battery is much more than light. It gives light, it gives talking, it gives walking, it gives movement, whatever. You can't say the nefesh is seichel and midas, because the nefesh is way above seichel and midas. Like even nefesh, ruach, and neshama, nefesh is the action, ruach is the midas, neshama is the seichel. But that's not even the essence of the neshama. Then you have chaya, you have yechida. So he says you can't say that the seichel and midas is the nefesh. So the Alter Rebbe is going to ask on himself now in this long comment. L'cheira, in Tanya he says the opposite. In Tanya, in Perek Gimel, he says the nefesh is seichel and midas. So he says the mashakos to betanya. This that it says in Tanya, shenefesh atma mischalekas seichel and midas. This that it says in Perek Gimel of Tanya, that the nefesh divides itself into seichel and midas. Shem nikroim atzmius hanefesh, which are called the essence of the nefesh. Here we're saying it's not the essence of the nefesh, and in Tanya he writes it is the essence of the nefesh. So he says himself, ein ze el gabi machshava dibur ha'maisa. Compared to the thought, speech, and action, which are garments of the soul, the way the soul reveals itself, then seichel and midas are considered essence of the soul. Relatively speaking, compared to thought, speech, and action, seichel and midas is the soul. But realistically speaking, to say the nefesh itself is much, much greater than seichel and midas. It's not that the nefesh is composed of seichel and midas. The nefesh has seichel and midas. Just like you don't say that a battery has in it the light department and the talking department and the walking department. The nefesh, the battery has one simplistic energy. Therefore it has seichel, it has midas, it has this and that, but that's not what the battery is. The battery is not the walking and the talking and the light and all that.
That's the light.
The Alter Rebbe himself who's comparing it to Tanya, or is it something?
No, this seems the Alter Rebbe himself. She'en levushin from mamish mutza nefesh, which are the level of B'ri Tzir Nasiya. In other words, in Tanya he says the nefesh comes from Atzilus. thought, speech, and action, it says, is Bria, Yitzira, and Asiya. Bria is machshava, Yitzira is dibur, Asiya is action, right? Now, the neshama is much greater than that. The neshama is atzilus. Compared to that, Shazeh Amar, that's what it says, the fush and tekinas line. You gave, in addition to the seichel amidas, the asset tikunin. Then the pasuk Eliyahu continued, the levishas tekinas line, you made garments, meaning, that's the world of Biyah. Ava seichel amidas, but seichel amidas, im yeshem bechinas levushim. Even though they're garments, einam lefudim nefradim mamash. They're not mamash separated. Elakamei bechinas kelim, that seals. It's like the kelim of Atzilis, which is Ir v'gamer echad. Him and the revelations are one. Therefore, they're called atzmius. They're called essence, comparison to thought, speech, and action. But v'lei atzmius mamash. They're not the essence of the neshama. In other words, sometimes you have a garment. The Rebbe says this in Kadei Kamta, which is usually defined as a snail or a turtle, but whichever way. The turtle has a shell. Okay, the shell is not the turtle, so to speak. The turtle is the turtle. The snail is the snail. Now those garments are not something you put on and off. The turtle can't take off the shell one day and put it back on and change it, and for the designs or whatever. It is a garment. It's not the turtle, it's not the snail, but it's still part of it. It's a garment which is one with the turtle. Our garments, there's not one with me. I can take it off, put it on. I mean, it's not one with me. So the Alter Rebbe is saying it like this: the essence of the nefesh is infinitely greater than seichel amidas. This that in Tanya says seichel amidas are the nefesh, that's compared to machshava, dibur, and ma'isa, which are completely separated. Bria, Yitzir, and Asiya. So compared to that, the nefesh, the seichel amidas, which are of the neshama, which are in Atzilus, is one with the nefesh, but it's not with the nefesh itself. The nefesh has seichel amidas, but it is not seichel amidas. What?
The levushim come from Asilut?
No, he's saying levusha bria tzir asiya. Seichel amidas is Atzilus. What?
Is the source of it.
Source of it. So why are they called tikkunim? Tikkunim means to fix. So he says, Alashem nikra mishem tikkunim, they're called tikkunim. Why? Shenefesh mitetkenes, or mislabeshes bahem. The nefesh becomes, he's going to give a mashal, when a person wears clothing, it honors the person, it makes the person complete, so to speak. Kamei Targum Unklis. Like it says in Targum Unklis, and the pasuk lo yilbash gever simla sisha. When the pasuk says a man is not allowed to wear a woman's garment, Targum Unklis says lo yitakim gever b'tikun itza. But he used the word tikkun, that a man is not allowed to dress. But what does he call dressing? Why? The inyan hatikun, the inyan of fixing, means miloshin tachshit, from the expression of like a jewelry piece. Person beautifies himself with it. And becomes affected by it. He becomes one with this piece of jewelry, as if it's part of him. In other words, even that we'll learn later. You have clothing that, so to speak, the Gemara says Rabbi Yochanan never called his garments. He called his garments mechabdusa, those that honor me. To give a simple example, when you want to go for, today's world is different. I'm talking about when the world was normal. You want to go for an interview for a prominent job. You didn't come in jeans and shorts with this sweat, t-shirt, looking like a shlump. They wouldn't even look at you. Today they dafka hire you.
It's on phone now.
Huh?
It's on phone.
No, but I'm saying, the clothing speak, you can tell the person by the way they dress, if they're whatever. Yet even in that, then you have jewelry, which are supposed to speak more part of the person than clothing are. When you wear jewelry, a necklace, and this, it's still different than regular clothing. Jewelry honors the person, so to speak, more, and the person feels good. It actually fixes the person. Here the Alter Rebbe is saying also, a person feels good when they dress properly. And again, I'm talking about a normal world. So then if they feel better. The nefesh in the body. Even though the garment is only the body is a garment of the soul, it's like the same mashal. He gives another mashal. You have the neshama coming into the body. The body is the garment of the soul. Even though really it's two things. There's a soul, there's a neshama, and there's a body. But nevertheless, it becomes so one that the nefesh is affected by the body. Like he says, when you bang your finger, the nefesh feels the pain. The body doesn't feel pain. A dead body, you can stick it as much as you want. It's not going to feel any pain. What feels the pain? The nefesh. The pain is in the body. Why is the nefesh feeling it? Because the nefesh and the guf, the neshama and the guf are one thing. It's two separate things. And the soul, so to speak, the body is, so to speak, a garment of the nefesh. But nevertheless, it becomes one in such a way that one becomes affected by the next. No, he's talking about nefesh from neshama. That's in the body. When the person wants to move the hand, yeah? Nishmarim l'ratzon zateika v'miyad k'sha'ela b'tzeinu l'asisa pa'ula. He says another the nefesh and the body are so interconnected. Okay, the second the nefesh wants to move the hand, it doesn't have a board meeting, or take 20 minutes until, it's not like a teenager. You tell them to do something, it takes half an hour for them to do it if they're going to do it. The second you tell them to do it, it does it. They do it right away. Why? What are you laughing about?
It's true, right?
Of course it's true. You should be happy if they do it after half an hour.
I'm laughing.
The problem is not funny, it's sad. But leave it at that. But one thing is good, eventually they grow out of teenage. They still don't get it until they become parents. Then it's all different things. So the nefesh and the body are one, but it's still two separate things. So he says, Seichel and Midas are one with the nefesh more than thought, speech, and action. Thought, speech, and action is not as one with the nefesh as Seichel and Midas. But it's still not the nefesh. The nefesh is above Seichel and Midas. The nefesh has Seichel and Midas. What you're wanting to ask, which you didn't ask, but you're either asking the question, Machshav is also one with the nefesh, but that's only compared to act, speech, and action. Compared to speech and action, Machshav is one with the nefesh. But Machshav is not as one with the nefesh as Seichel and Midas are. It's still a garment externally from the soul, when Seichel and Midas are actually part of the soul.
Sure.